We're really excited. So the InTown Suites has been around 26 years, and for the first time in perhaps 15 years, we are building our first new builds. And we're not only introducing new buildings, we're actually introducing a new brand along with that that's related to the InTown Suites brand. But by its name, you'll see it's Uptown Suites. Very simple. It's a very simple business in many ways that you can overcomplicate. And so we're opening Uptown Suites. The very first one actually obtained its certificate of occupancy today. Was today April 11th or 12th, whatever today is. We got our first certificate of occupancy. We'll open in about a week. The second, and that's in Concord, which is north of Charlotte, North Carolina. The second one is in Nashville. We'll open in approximately 2.5 weeks. We have one in Austin, two in Denver. We have one in Homestead, which is south of Miami. We have one in Brandon, which is the Tampa area of Florida. A lot of the exciting high-growth markets around the U.S. They are 127 keys. They're stick-built, 4 stories, 1 elevator. By the name, it would suggest a slightly higher price point. They're obviously all brand new. We've got 12 planned right now, which will open by mid-next year with a goal of about 29 open by the end of 2019. They're focused on comfort, convenience, and connectivity. And connectivity not just to mean technology, it implies that, but also connecting with our property managers and with our staff. So those are the sort of the priorities. That's the tagline. We have high-speed USB ports that can charge a phone much more rapidly than kind of an overnight plug-in. We have a self-serve Uptown Treats, we call it, mart, that has frozen goods, chilled and dry. We have a gym in each of these. We have 300 megabytes of Wi-Fi, which is by far more at a zero than any other group in our space. We do intend to be still in the economy sector, but at the very highest end of economy. Extended Stay America in the mid-tier of extended stay. There, we intend to be sort of one significant notch below their price point, but above InTown and Woodspring. If we're sort of right in that area, there's a lot of room that nobody's really, I think, exploited, and that's what we're focused on. Roughly $400 per week is the price point. Right, the target guest will break down in 3 respects, very similar to InTown, but again, up a little bit. So we will have construction workers, but less likely the laborers and more likely the supervisors. We will have workers, but less of blue collar and more white collar. And we will have families, although I'd say a little less folks facing some adversity like in the InTown product who are living, frankly, by it's the least cost alternative. More likely families moving to an area for a job or what have you. In Concord, we're also right near the Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is NASCAR, which is big in the United States. They put on events where their people who prep come a month before. We'll have a lot of that. In Nashville, we're the closest property to the Nissan Leaf plant where they build the Nissan Leaf electric car. We have car charging stations at this product too. So that's another example. We're going to have a lot of workers from that, from Nissan as well, we think. We can and we do, and that's, I think, perfect. There's a price point segregation. The average in-town price point across the country is $250 a week. These will be about $400, a little over $400 a week. There are some in-towns that fetch in the low 400s in South Florida, in Denver, but in markets where an older in-town, maybe recently renovated, will fetch, say, $400. If we do, in fact, find a site nearby of the Uptown product, it'll be $75 to $100 more in price point. And that's about the segregation, about $100 in price. And again, I think the guests are going to be willing to pay for it. They can afford it. I don't think the in-town guests will be able to afford that much up of a price point. So these products really won't compete. But on the other hand, Uptown will be an endorsed brand. In other words, it'll be Uptown Suites by InTown. There'll be a relationship. We think that'll help sort of provide a little bit of lift to the InTown brand in the broader context of renovating all the InTowns as well. I'll say a few things. First, it's really grown and matured as an event, I think. It seems to have a larger audience. And I will say, and I said this during the panel, and I really do mean it, what Pierce is doing and what his organization is doing, I think, at least speaking from this country's standpoint, is probably a broader point. It's very important. We have hotels to the left and we have multifamilies to the right. Each of them have robust associations and groups that come together, and they're also clearly defined categories. What happens in between is, other than maybe extended stay America, that Americans tend to know what that is, there's a lot of fuzziness of what is a serviced apartment, apartment hotel, extended stay product at different price points. It's really a little bit of a messy space that is not well defined, and this organization, what Pierce is doing, is giving this group of sort of hybrid in between an identity that I think over time will be much more clear. And I say that mostly in the context of the investor world, of people looking to make bets. Exit multiples on EBITDA that investors will pay for a hotel are different than multifamily. So the question is, well, what should an exit multiple be for a company in the middle? It's not well defined. Without an organization like Pierce's, it will never really get well defined. People will lump a company either into a hotel, which will have a dilutive effect on value, or if you get lucky, which I doubt will happen, they'll lump you into an apartment, which will make it more valuable. That's less likely. The former is more likely. And so having an organization like this gives legitimacy and helps create that identity. And I think over time, exit multiples won't just be automatically lumped into the hotel category.